Hi, this is Stuart Fleming. I found some things that would make another video somewhat interesting, so I decided to put this together. Now, the first thing I wanted to mention was in the first video I did, I failed to mention one particular type of CSS that you can do, which is defining your own. And it's right here, and you'll see that I named it Silly, just to show you that you can name it anything you want. And you can see that it has a background color of green. And if we come over to my main JSPX, you can see that this here has a property of silly in the style class, and if it's removed, so is that. So let's do Control V and or Z and get that, or yeah, Z and get that back in. Now, if you look here, you can see that this one also has silly. The content of the input box is set to red. However, you can see on the side that it's kind of there. And this label is set in the main CSS. I'm just going to take this out. Let's see. I want to see how this behaves. Full refresh is sometimes required. So the labels were being set by that one CSS element that I had described, but I guess not sure exactly what's turning what here, and you know, this is part of the mystery of Jdeveloper. You have to figure out what's changing what. At any rate, what we want to do, the goal is this. This page is being used in this application, and it has a style sheet which is making these beautiful colors appear. Now what we need to do is put this into another application that is somewhat like a portal, and we need to transform this so that it has bounded task flows, and this page is a JSPX. We need to convert that to a JSFF. So I'm going to just do that quickly, and this might be somewhat long, but first thing we're going to do is extract the task flow and ignore that, and we'll call it let's see, we'll call it main bounded task flow, yeah, BTF. Okay, so we have that now, but we also want to make sure that it is a JSF. So now we change this to a bounded task flow, and we're going to extract that. And now we have a JSFF. And you can see that it is now showing. Everything should be the same otherwise, except for the fact that it is now a JSSF page. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now, one thing that is nice to do, otherwise it won't work at all, is to set that as the default activity. Okay, so we've got our bounded task flow here. Let's create our new application, which is going to be My Portal. And it's a Fusion Web app. This is not a web center. I'm just using it as it were. And we could even... The idea here is that since you have a model over here in the HR model jar, you do not want to have any conflicts, so you try to give it a unique name. And again, we would want portal model. Okay, I'm just doing this real quickly here, so I don't really want to spend a lot of time on the naming conventions, but they do need to be unique, because if you have two applications with the same packages, the data bindings files tend to get corrupted when you use a application in another application like we're going to. All right, so let me just clean this off. All right, so we have our portal application here. I'm going to just put a view, and we're going to have it portal view. And we'll set that like that. Come over to the property inspector. Come on. Oh, I need component, sorry. Put a decorative box in there. In the decorative box, we will put an output text and an input text, if I can find it. Okay. Save. Now you can see here that it's rather white, so let's take a look and see what the, this is Skyros, and if we change it to Fusion, and if we spell it correctly, when we go back to the portal view, we'll see a little bit more colorization on here. I just made a new word, colorization. So there it is. It's a much more attractive color. Of course, it looks like an Oracle Fusion middleware application. But okay, so now we're going to go back to our original application, and we're going to look at deployment. This is a WAR file. What we need is an ADF library jar file. ADF lib HR. What do we call this? We'll call it HR. ADF lib HR. Control C to copy that. Everything should pretty much be accepted. Alright, so there we go. And we are now going to deploy this, not to the WAR file, but to the ADF library file. And this is the output directory. So when it deploys, there's messages here, of course, that's showing all the things that it's doing. But this is actually where the deployment will be. And if this view is not showing, then you come up to View and Log. And that will open up this. So you can see that it's building. I'm going to come over here and just get this ready. And there it is. Control C. I'm going to come over here and create a new connection, which is a file system connection. And we'll copy the entire path in. But I'm going to just take this part out because you don't put the actual jar name in. You test the connection and it's good. So now we have a file system, and you can actually see all of the components in here. Now, if we do I'm in the model jar, you have to make sure you're in the right section here. If you're in here, you can see that the app module control is here, but that's for the model jar that we were just working on. And if I want to add this, I can add it to the view and it'll create a region, but I'm not going to do that because I'm in the wrong application. I have to make sure that I'm pointed to this. And let me show you why. Now when I do it and I do region, it's going to say, hey, do you want to add a library? Well, I want to add a library to this application, sure, yeah, but if I had dragged this onto the other application, I would have added the jar to that application, and that would have caused probably a conflict. So you can now see that in the portal view, I have these things here, right? And you can see now that I have a very kind of vague, I don't know what I pressed there, a vague outline of the application that I made. Now, let's take a look at that JSSF. The JSSF has a lot of color on it, and that's because it had it does have, it's an extending, here, let's take a quick look at this. So we're looking at this, and we're looking at the version 2. The version 2 is actually pointing to this file. Here it is. And it's extending this one, which is here. And this one extends the fusion.desktop. So that's why those buttons are showing that way. But when we're in the portal, okay, The portal has a Trinidad, and it's looking just at the fusion. So if I run this, not this one, this one, it should come out with basically a portal looking view. But now here you can see that this one is set here. So I think it's 1, 2, 3. The third one down, I'm not sure if that has something set locally that would cause, yeah, see here. It's got some colors set locally that are not in any of the other ones. This one is set to silly. So let's actually see if we'll run this. I'm a little afraid it won't. Sometimes when you do this the first time, it needs some debugging, or it might need the database added to the view controller because I haven't added it yet. Hey, look at that. It actually worked. So it's the phone number that doesn't have this, or that has a different thing. So let's look at the phone number. The phone number, yeah, there it is. It's got this active caption, which is one of the styles. I'm not sure exactly. Let's see if I got it from here. I can't remember exactly if I got it, where I got it. There's some, oh, that's not it. There's some built-in, yeah, that something's different. There are some built-in styles. Now, one of the things that I'd like to show you is if we come over to the view controller and do copy path, we'll see if this works on this particular one. It does on this one, so we can always come back to it. Alright, so here we're going to take this off and come into HTML, web, and temp. In here, it's rather interesting because there's it puts in the standard Oracle, and there's two of them. One's 232 kilobytes, the other is 75. And it puts in all of these different styles. Okay. This one's actually readable. Some of them are not. You can see that it's all set, and these are different things for the Oracle Fusion Desktop or Oracle Fusion or Skyros. And so if you ever need to figure out, hey, what should I do? How can I do some of this stuff? You can look in here and get some ideas of what they did. So they did some padding here on the cell. And so there's a whole bunch of, here's a .AF data text. So there's a whole bunch of different samples that you can look at, see how they did it. All right, so you can see now then that in our portal, it took the Fusion look and it did not import the look and feel of the application that we used as maybe a child of the portal. Now remember, I'm flipping back and forth here. You have this file open, but you can flip back between there. So none of these styles were pulled in except for the styles that were hard-coded here. Those actually did pull in over to this new application. So that is the skinny on skinning, part 2. Thank you very much. I hope that was helpful. Have a great day.